Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm going to be doing a preview of Final Girl. This is a new game from Van Ryder Games. It's going to be on Kickstarter as of April 16th, and it basically uses the hostage negotiator engine, but with a horror movie theme. So in this game, we are the final girl, and we are going to be in a kill or be killed situation with the killer. So in this game, you're going to be able to mix and match locations and killers. In this case, we are going up against Hans, and we are at Camp Happy Trails. But theoretically, you could either confront Hans in a different location or have a different killer at Camp Happy Trails. This is what we have for now. I've also randomly selected my final girl, and that's going to be Laurie. So setup is relatively simple. As with Hostage Negotiator, my hand is currently filled with 0 point or 0 time cards. So these are free, and they're the ones that I get to start with, and I'll get them back basically every other round if I'm using them. We'll talk it through. Here is the market where I can use time left at the end of various rounds to purchase more cards. So I'm going to want to be very carefully managing my time. At each round, you start at 6. Different actions I can take cost time. Some will let me gain time. But no matter what, time is the resource that I have both to do actions on my cards and to buy more cards during the planning phase of a round. On this board, we also have the horror track. So basically, depending on how freaked out my character is, I can roll more or fewer dice. Right now, Hans' starting value is at 4 horror. You can see right up here in the top corner of his character board. So 2 dice is my default. If things get really bad, I'll drop to 1. If things are going great, I might get to roll up to 3 dice, which is important because it gives me a higher chance of rolling a success. My life is right here. So Laurie has 5 life as determined on her card. So she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is an adrenaline token. I get 1 and so does Hans. Basically, towards the end of the game, if I've got 1 life left, I do get to roll an extra die, which is cool. It's like an adrenaline rush, but also on the back of here, there might or might not be a little bit of extra health. So you know how a horror movie goes where something or someone is dead or they seem dead, but they're really not? Well, in this game, that's possible. You can potentially get a little bit of a break and come back to life. The problem is, so can Hans. So he has a starting life of 12, which is a lot more than me. And he also has a potential to come back from the dead at the end if I get him. Yikes. So Hans' setup is pretty easy as well. He has multiple dark power cards, so I drew one of those. Basically, once we get to the dark power reveal, he'll get more powerful and scary, which is terrifying. He's already sort of scary. And this is his finale card. So we're working through, just like with Hostage Negotiator, a terror deck where we draw a new card for terror every round, but there are 10 cards in this deck. So if our game progresses beyond 10 rounds, the finale card gets flipped and Hans goes wild. So instead of drawing a new event every turn, you get this crazy killer doing even more crazy killer things than he did before. Another key thing to check for Hans is his Bloodlust Meter. So basically, as victims die throughout the game, his Bloodlust is going to keep going up. So what it's going to do is trigger little consequences every so often in the game. So he starts with 1 move and 2 damage to you if he stabs you. Victims just die. They're not so lucky. But those numbers are going to increase. And then also every couple of levels, he's going to cause horror. So he's going to reduce the number of dice you can roll. And at some point, his dark power gets revealed. So you do not want to let the killer kill a bunch of victims, because if you do, there are bad consequences for you. They get amped up and you get in trouble. And then we also have Camp Happy Trails. So this is our place where we're going to be trying to deal with Hans. Here is a setup card. There are a bunch of different setup cards, so every game will be a little bit different, but it tells you where the final girl goes, where the killer goes, and where all the different victims will be. Then you also have items. We have a couple cool ones showing right now that I'm hoping we can get. So at the cabins, the dock, and the utility shed, it's possible to play a search card and try to get items from these search decks. So items can help you get special powers in the game, help you do damage to Hans. They do a lot of cool stuff, and there's a bunch of different ones. So that will be different every time. You don't play with every single item, and the configuration of item decks changes from game to game. We have our victims. Here's Hans. Here's me. I'm obviously a hostage negotiator / final girl. I love it. And every location has a certain number of escape points. So these green doors here at the corners and up top are indications that if I can get victims to these spaces, they will run away from Camp Happy Trails and never be seen again. They've escaped from Hans. So we don't get to use those because we're the final girl. We have to be tough. But it is possible to get victims out, and that is how you prevent Hans from killing them. Here's my final girl card. You get rewarded for helping victims escape. So in addition to it making Hans less powerful, it's good for us because we get to cover the spaces on this card with the meeples that we save from the board. And every time you do that, you get a reward. You can cover them in any order you want, so I can just choose things that I would like to have happen. And then once you filled the whole front, you get to flip and unlock your ultimate power. So basically, Laurie is pretty cool. She can do some extra damage. And we want to help her help victims because it's nice, because it keeps Hans from powering up too fast, and because it helps us. There's one more thing we need to do before we begin play, and that is draw an event card. So events basically add extra drama and spice to the proceedings. Sometimes it's pretty bad though, so let's see what happens. So let's draw this event. Awesome! This event is called Fresh Meat. So we're going to place 2 new victims at the cabins, 2 new victims at the dock, and 2 new victims at the fire pit. So these people are idiots and they're coming to camp right in the middle of Hans starting his rampage. So you cannot trust the victims in this game to help you. They're going to do really dumb stuff and it sucks, but that's part of the fun. All right, so we got more people in the cabins, 2 more, 2 more at the fire pit, and 2 more at the dock. Uh-oh. So Hans is right here. This is a bad start. These people are all just like, oh, let's go right by the killer. Awesome. But we're going to do what we can do. Should be great. All right. So I'm going to stay flat so you can see where I am. I think brown kind of blends a little bit. So there is my character. So now it's our turn to do something. The very beginning of every turn is the action phase, which means I get to play cards and kind of see how it goes. Let's look through our cards. So I won't be using this card this turn, but let's have a look. As with Hostage Negotiator, you basically roll dice, and if you get 2 successes, you get the best result. If you get 1 success, you get this result in the middle, and if you fail, then you get a bad result. So you're constantly trying to manipulate your dice and hope for the best and take calculated risks to try to make things go as well for you as possible. So well for us, let me remind you in this case, is that we have to kill Hans before he kills us. That is a tall order. In some of the scenarios, for example, the Poltergeist, who was played by Mike Kelly on the One Stop Co-op Shop, you don't have to kill her because you can't. She's a ghost. You have a different win condition instead. So things can change depending on your location and your killer in this game, which I think is really cool. So we have Weak Attack, we have Walk, and there are 2 of those. We'll be using those this turn for sure. They basically help you move, hopefully with victims to get them off this board. We have Focus. That allows you to kind of take a breath. It lets you decrease your horror level. And if you do really well, it's like you plan better for that moment because you're so focused and you get a little bit of extra time. So there's 2 of those. There's a short rest that lets you regain health. Hopefully we won't need that already this turn. And that's it. Those are the starter cards. We'll buy cooler stuff next turn. So for now, what I'm definitely planning to do is let's go ahead and try for a walk. I would like to walk. I'm thinking, okay, I really want to come to the cabins. The reason that I really want to come to the cabins is that there's an aluminum bat up here if I can get a search card and search that spot. So I am very inclined to get up here to the cabins and try to get these people out. I want to save everyone, but I also really want to make sure I get that aluminum bat. So that may be my ultimate goal. So if I do that, I can come up 1, 2, if I do 2 successes, and get in here and start my search process. The other thing that I could do is I can come in here and then try to start moving up and bring some more people with me and try to get them off the map. The problem is that Hans will have designs of his own and be moving around the board. That is scary. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play Walk. So I'm gonna just put it down and we're gonna roll 2 dice to see how I do. So that first walk was terrible. I didn't get any success. It's like I'm so scared I can't go anywhere, I guess. So, however, this 3 can be converted into a success, potentially. So basically I can either take a hit for 2 time and just be like, well, that walk failed. I can take a damage to move up to 1 space and still lose 2 time. Or because I rolled this 3 right here, if you roll a 5 or 6, that's a success. If you roll a 3 or a 4, you can pay 2 more of your cards from your hand to convert that into a success. So I think, even though I would prefer not to do that, I will do it. Let's go ahead and ditch weak attack and short rest, kind of like face down, as a way to convert this die into a success, which allows me to move up to 1 space. So I'm going to lose 1 time, and I can move 1 space. We're going to do it. Now we're going to try to walk again. Let's hope for a better result. We'll roll these dice. Okay, so I did get 1 success that time, so I'm kind of stumbling over to the cabins. Okay, so that could be worse. I lose 1 more time. And then I have to decide what I want to do with my focus cards. I could try to do one and decrease my horror, maybe have things go better with my dice, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard these for 1 time each. So if you want to turn a failure into a success and it's a 3 or 4, you pay 2 cards to do that. If you want to pay cards from your hand at the end of the round for 1 point of time each, you can do that. So I'm showing you like the full range of stuff this turn. So for 2 time, I'm going to discard these 2 cards and in my action phase with an empty hand. So what that's going to mean is that now I have spent all these cards. So these are not going on the market right now. These are spent. So I'm going to just put them face down to indicate that. I can't buy them again until the next turn. But now I'm in what's called planning, and I get to spend these 6 points on other cards. So here's what I'm going to do. I want a sprint card for 2. It's like an upgraded walk card. It's much better. It lets you move more. I like it. I'm going to take a search card for 2 because I want to search the cabins and get an aluminum bat to hit Honza in the face with. Fantastic plan in my opinion. And then we are going to spend our last 2. Let's grab both of these close call cards. I can either discard them or use them to reroll. So they're just good to have around. Why not? Okay, so I have 4 cards in my hand. So that was all my stuff. I did my actions, I did my planning. So now Hans gets a turn, and it's the killer phase. So first, Hans is going to do his default action that's up here. It'll change when we get to the finale. If we get to the finale, we'll see. So he's just going to stab. Whatever space he's in, he's stabbies, and if there was a victim there, they would die, and if I were there, I would take damage. I would take 2 damage right now because of where his bloodlust is. But none of that happened this time, so that part of his turn is over. But now we have to draw a terror card, and terror cards are indeed terrifying. So our first terror card is Run for Your Life. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw a new terror card. Otherwise, so there are definitely victims, all victims must panic except for victims in the same space as the final girl, and then the killer will target, attack, and move. Well, I get to show you a new mechanic in this game, which is called Panicking. When you have victims who panic, you roll a die, and basically at the exits of each of these little spaces, there are numbers. If you roll a number that indicates that you go out, like for here, this says 6. If I had somebody in here and I rolled a 6, they would go this way right towards the killer. If there is no number that matches what you roll on the die, so not all numbers are represented, then you have a victim that stays in place. So none of these victims are going to move because they're in the same space as me. So I have the uncanny ability to stop them from freaking the heck out. But everybody else is going to run. So here at Makeout Point, this lone person at Makeout Point, even though there's victims everywhere, is like, oh no, where's my boyfriend? I'm freaking out. All right. So they rolled a 2. There's only a 3 to 6 for exiting here. So they tried to hide at Makeout Point, probably in the trunk of the car. This person rolls a 4. That means that they're going to go here to the cliff. This person rolled a 3. So they're going to go here, and they are in fact going towards the killer. Good job. With a 6, so is this one. So they moved closer to the killer in their panic. Good job. So this person rolled a 4. So you really have to roll a 6 or a 5 to leave the lake. So they're still just splashing around. Oh no, I'm so scared. Blub, blub, blub. These 4 people are going to have an exciting time. Let's just move them to the side so I can... All right, so this one rolled a 1. They go in the lake. This one rolled a 5. They go here. This one rolled a 6. They go here. And this one for a 2, they're going to go in the lake. So this victim actually moved into an exit space, but I think that since they're not with me, they're too stupid to run, because according to the rules so far, I mean, these are prototype rules, it says if during your movement you pass through an exit space or end your movement at an exit, any victims that are with you may be saved. So I think that to save them, I have to be with them. So they'll just stay here. Awesome. All right, so Hans is not done yet. What he's going to do is he's going to target a victim, make a stab motion, and then move. So this actually worked out okay because he's going to target a victim and stab, but there's no one in the space. Thank goodness. And then he's going to move. So nobody died this turn, but he is going to move one space towards one of these sets of victims. And I think he'll move here because there's more damage to be done. All right, so he comes in here, and now these victims are going to panic again, because if Hans ends the turn in a space with victims, they freak out, understandably so. So this one, roll a 4, they are going to go here, closer to me, that's not too bad. This one got a 6, they are going to go this way. Okay, so they ran away from Hans, but not far enough for my taste. There's going to be some dying this turn. All right, so that was it for Hans this time. He didn't kill anyone yet, but it's really inevitable. Look at this collection of victims over by him. Uh-oh. Now it is back to my turn. If I had any upkeep, I would do it now, but I don't. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to search, because I want an aluminum bat. I really do. So for search, basically, also our time should be back at 6. Should have done that at the end of my planning. Okay. So if I get 2 successes, I can actually look at the top 2 cards of the search deck. If I get 1 success, I take the card on top. And if I fail, I end up upset big time. So let's kind of see what happens. Okay, so I rolled 1 success. That means I can take the top card of my location. And that's not bad, because my top card is an aluminum bat. As you can see, it's got a range of 0, which means I need to be in the same space as Hans to use it. It does give an additional damage to Hans. And it's a 2-handed weapon, so I can use it to just hit him. So basically every time I hit Hans, this bat does 1 extra damage. Also, if he ends up with minor dark powers, whenever I damage him with it, I can force him to discard 1, which is really good because that kind of powers him down a little bit. So, aluminum bat. Awesome. Normally, if I had my full spread, I'd put it over here into my backpack or in my hands. I guess we'll put it right here. It's in our hands. We have an aluminum bat in our hands to hit Hans with. Fantastic. So I'm not done yet. The search is going to get discarded. And then let's see. I only really have a sprint card and some close calls. So let's go ahead and play the sprint. And hopefully I can get some successes and get some people off the map. We got to get some victims out of here. Okay, so in this case we have 1 success and then 1 not quite a success, but I could change it if I really wanted to. No, what I'm going to do, by the way, my search would have cost me a time. I should take that off. The sprint is also going to cost me a time. I think I'm just going to accept it as is. We're going to move 2 spaces. We can take 2 victims with us. So we're going to go 1, 2. And since this is an exit space, these victims leave the board and they come over to this card. So I get to choose what spaces to cover. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and do a decrease in horror, which will push this down a little bit. And I like this one. So it takes a cost 2 or less action card. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that and pull another sprint. Yes, so I can do a little bit more movement this turn because why not? So I'm going to go ahead and play that sprint card. Yeah, I'm going to play it. Let's do it. All right, so sprint. Let's see how I do. Ooh, I got a double success for 3 movement. That's actually great. So we're going to go... Actually, I can save somebody else from Hans here. So let's do 1, 2. Boom, this one will leave the board. We'll handle the board in a second. And let's go 3. So we're going to come back to the cabin and hang out and try to get these people out. Yeah, I could have come down in here, but Now, that'll be a task for another moment. So we have made some more progress in getting victims off the board. Let's go ahead and put our friend... Actually, why don't we use the move one space reward? So that way I can come down in here. That would have cost me 1 time. Yeah, I'm at 4 time. So this would have come down. So I'm just going to come down here and be ready to grab them again. So I've come back to the cabins. I'll be right back. And this time I actually was. Ha! All right, so I'm back in the cabins using my victim powers. If I can fill this up, I can flip over to my ultimate power, which is also pretty cool. So I have these 2 close call cards in my hand. Just going to hang on to them. I'm about to pick up a bunch of cards. So I have 4 conversation. One thing I'm going to pick up now, though, is all of my 0 cost cards that I played that first turn. They're available again and they cost nothing. So I'm going to grab them all. So it's 6, 7, 8, and I have a 10 card limit. So let's think about what else I want in my hand. You might as well spend all of your points. They don't last from round to round. You just reset to 6 every time. So I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm like not having the things that I need. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm pretty scared of Hans coming over here and hitting me. So I'm going to pick up my first... There's nothing else I really want to buy, which is why I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Retaliate, which is a card I just like to have in my hand all the time. It's just worth that spot. So I'm going to slip it in. So if Hans ends up in the same space as me and tries to hit me, I can try to hit him back and do some damage, which I would like. Oh yes. At some point I would like to get a search over here at the utility shed to grab a bear trap because those are hilarious. But we'll see. All right, so I've done my planning. This goes to discard. So since I've done all of my planning, I can put these cards back because there's no risk of me accidentally buying them back. So these will be available again next time I have a plan. So that was all 4. I'm going to reset to 6 time. And it's Hansa's turn. So Hansa's first thing he's going to do is stab. Fortunately, he's just stabbing the air again because there's no one in there with him. The panicked people left. Sometimes people panic and stay and try to hide. It's always a mistake. All right, so next terror card. What will we be terrified of this time? All right, so let's draw. This time we got, what's that noise? Let's go and see. All the victims move 1 space closer to the killer. What? What? Oh no, okay. So now every victim on the board is going to move a space closer to Hans. Fantastic. So these people are going to go here. That actually suits my purposes. Okay, enough. This person will go here. This person will go here. Let's all just get closer to Hans, everyone. These guys are going to leave the lake. This person's going to move into the space with Hans. What was that noise? This person will move here. This person will move here. This person will move here. And then these guys will all move here. So, no, actually they can just move here. Even closer to our friend Hans. Great. So now, as is on the terror card, Hans is going to stab. So stabbity stab, this victim is dead. They go, I'll just put him over here. And he is going to go up 1 in Bloodlust. Nothing happened yet from that, but it is inevitable that we're going to have problems because of all the Bloodlust. Uh-oh. Okay. Then Hans is going to move. It doesn't really matter which way he would move. So there's like rules for if whatever space you want him to move to, move him to the opposite one and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to roll die because I really don't know. So let's say that if he rolls 1 to 3, he'll go this way. If he rolls 4 to 6, he goes this way. All right, so he rolled a 2. So he's going to kind of move up in our direction, which is terrifying. And yeah, so he doesn't kill this person, but they do panic. So I'm going to roll to see where they go. So I roll a 5. This person will go here, which is actually good because I might be able to get them off the board. But Hans might come at me, which is also terrifying. So that was Hans's turn. And if we had any upkeep, we would do it, but we don't. So we are back to me. All right, guys, I think it's definitely time to make sure that we do some walking. Let's walk. Let's hope it's a 2 for, that would be amazing. Okay. So, I can move up to 2 spaces if I get 2 successes. 1 space if I don't. Well, that was the world's crappiest walk. I didn't get anything. That was terrible. What I did was trip over my own feet. I got like stuck. I read a magazine in the cabin. All right, so that was 2 times lost. That blows. And then we're gonna walk again. Let's hope for some more success this time. All right, so we got 1 success. Could have been better, but it also could have been a lot worse. So I'm gonna go 1, and I'm gonna take these people with me. 2. I feel like, okay, so I walked these 2 people in, and now all 3 of them are there with me. Technically, the rules say that if you pass through an exit space or end your movement there, any victims that are with you may be saved. Even though I only brought 2, these 3 are all with me now, so I'm going to say that they all got away. So that was worth my effort, because we're going to unlock my big power now, which is cool. So that cost me a time, by the way. But I'm going to get 2 time back. I'm going to get a heart, which I can't actually go above my max health, so that wasn't the best moment for that, especially with Hans on my tail, but that's okay. And then this allows me to add +2 terror cards to the deck, because the more terror cards there are, the better off we are, because it delays Hans's finale. So I'm going to just grab 2 terror cards and shuffle them into the deck. So an aspect of setup I did not talk about enough is so when you set up your terror deck, there are sets of cards for the location and there's sets of cards for the killer. You mix them up and you only take out 10, but you keep the rest of the deck so that you can do exactly this. Pull terror cards out and add them to the deck. Okay, so I've done all of the stuff on here. All these victims come off and we look at Laurie's ultimate power. So basically what this means is that whenever I'm in the same space as the killer and I inflict damage, I do an additional damage. And then for each victim I save, I get a little bit more time. That's pretty good. So we now have a little bit more power against Hans, who is very powerful and scary, so we needed that. All right, so I have these action cards. The question is, do I want to do anything else? I could ditch some of these. I'm keeping weak attack at this point, because honestly, Hans could come into my space and I would like to be able to try to hit him next time. We're definitely keeping retaliate. That's what I got it for. I don't need a short rest right now, so we'll discard it for some purpose. Okay, let's do this. I would like to roll more dice. Let's try to focus and see if we have any success with that, and then we'll see if we can buy ourselves a little more time for a better buy round. So we'll play focus. Okay, so I got 1. That means that I lost a time, but I did manage to bring my horror level down by 1, which is good. Because the longer we stay in the 2 dice range, even if we can't get to 3, the better. So this card will be discarded. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard this other short rest and this other focus for 1 time each. So I will be back up to 6 time for my buy round, which I really like. So those are all the cards I've decided to play. I've got 4 cards in my hand and I'm going into the planning phase. So I know that I want these sprint cards. Yeah, we're still kind of in the victim bailout phase because Hans is right here. We're going to have to probably get in a fight with him. This is going to be rough because I'd also love to get to this utility shed. If he's so close to me, I could probably set a bear trap and like make him walk in it, which is hilarious. All right, so, okay, let's grab, I don't have enough time by critical blow and anything else, which would leave me movementless. So we're going to pick sprint, one of the sprints, 1, 2. Let's grab the other one too, 3, 4. And then we're gonna get search because I wanna see if I can grab that bear trap. So that's all my time. We reset to 6 and this is my hand of cards for the next round. Now it's Hans's turn. He does his default stabby stabby. There's no one there, fortunately. Then we're gonna draw a terror card. All right, so this one is, you can't save us, no one can. So all victims in the same space as the final girl must panic twice. Thankfully, there was no one in the space with me. If this had come up like a turn earlier, we would have had some problems. Hans will target a victim. He will stab the air, fortunately, and then he is going to move. So he's gonna come in here because he has a target that is victims, and he's gonna move right towards the closest victims. So he's ending his move here, which means that all 4 of these people are gonna panic. They're gonna freak out. So let's see what they do. Please don't jump in the lake. They're all going to jump in the lake. Okay, guys. So that was a 5 for this one. They did, what did you do? They went to make out point. Oh, corner yourself. That's even better. Good job, kids. All right, a 1. This person went in the lake. 1 in the lake. 5. Make out point. Did you know that jumping in the lake is the best way to escape from a crazy murderer? I didn't think you knew that because I don't think it's true. Okay, so that was Hanza's turn. Let's see what happens next. It's my go. I think I'm going to try to get to the utility shed, get a bear trap, and see if I can put it like here so that I know Hans is going to walk through it. That would actually be really funny, and I would enjoy it a lot. Let's do that. Okay, so keep your fingers crossed for me, people. I need 2 successes on this sprint. I just need it. I need it. All right, I got 1. I think what I'm going to do, that cost me a time, I'm going to use one of my close calls right now. So I'm going to see if I can reroll this die and get a success on it. Come on. Yes! All right, so I got 2 successes. I need a little help, but that's all right. So that cost me 1 time to go. 1, 2, 3. I'm in the utility shed, everyone. This is awesome. Okay. So these go into discard. But don't forget, these are the ones I discarded last turn. So I'm actually just going to put these face down up here so I don't get a discard pile mix up, which I have done and it was stupid. So don't do it. So these go into my current discard. Now we're going to play search. I really only need 1 success because I know I want that bear trap. Bear trap. Bear trap. Oh, double. Okay, so basically what happens when you roll 2 is you actually get to check this and the top card of that you can't see. So let's have a look. Oh, these are both great. Okay, so we have the bear trap and we have the axe. I've already got a weapon. The axe is a better one, but the bear trap is hilarious and I just am dying to show it to you. So I can spend 2 time during my action phase to place it in my space as long as it's not the lake. And if the killer goes in that space, the killer's phase ends and the killer gets 2 damage. This one is just a consistent, I can hit you for 2, which is also not a bad plan. What I might do is find a way to stay here and buy another search card, which is why I left a second one in the market. So we're gonna put this one face down on top, as is our option. And we're gonna take the bear trap. So when you do item sifting, basically, you can, this goes in my backpack, put the card that you looked at either on the top face down or on the bottom. It's your choice. So I'm leaving the axe up top. And I'm gonna maybe try to get it in a second. So I have these other cards, but you know what? I think I'm gonna just, Hans can't actually move enough to catch me right now. So I'm gonna stop right where I'm at and I'm gonna try for another search next turn to get that axe. So this goes into discard and let's go into planning. So I have 4 points left. So searching cost me a point of time and sprinting also did. So I'm at 4 points for my buy round. That's actually not too bad. I'm going to be able, if I want, okay, so here's the thing. I have 4 cards in my hand right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 freebies. Okay. So your hand limit is 10. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and keep these 4, obviously. The question is, do I want to buy cards and then not take all the 0 ones back this time? I definitely want to take search for 2. And then I think that since Hans is so down my throat about this, I'm going to go for 2 and I'm going to grab this guard card. Then I'm only going to take 4 of these. We're going to ditch a focus for right now. Because if I get hurt, well, I won't get hurt till next turn. So we'll keep all of our focuses. Short rest, I'll pick up next turn again. So that makes me have a full hand of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards. And I'm going to have a fat turn next turn. Provided I roll well, that is, because that doesn't always happen. Okay, so now it's Hans's turn. This could get rough because it just feels like it's going to go that way. So he's going to stab. He stabs the air. But now, let's draw a terror card. He wants fresh blood. So if there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card, but that's not it. Otherwise, he's going to move. Well, he's going to target a victim, which is going to be these guys. He's going to move twice, but he will stop his move right here. And then he's going to stab once. So he has killed another victim. That is bad. So this, I'll just put them over here in my little graveyard. And his bloodlust went up. And what that's going to do is it impacts my horror, which will also increase by 1. So his stats haven't changed yet, but it could get bad. So now he's in here at makeout point with this person. They're going to panic. If they roll a 3 to 6, they'll leave. If not, they're going to try to hide at makeout point. Good choices, folks. All right, so they rolled a 3. So they're going to run out of makeout point. No one wanted to make out with you, Hans. Let's get real. Okay, so what this leaves me to do, I think that my best plan, since it's my turn again, we don't have any upkeep, so whatever, is I'm going to search and try to get that axe, ditch the aluminum bat, because who needs a bat when you can have an axe? I'm going to come down and try to get these people. So this person, I'm sorry for them, but if they die, not too much happens to Hans's bloodlust, but if I can get a bunch of these people off the board, that would be ideal. So let's reset my time to 6. Let's start with a search. All right, I only need 1 success. Give me something. Ooh, 2 successes. Okay, so I can just check the top 2. I know I don't want the whatever's here. All right. So it's the axe and like an energy drink. It does give you some time and movement, and like that's cool, but I want this axe. That is what I want. So we're gonna dump the bat, take the axe, and I'm really happy with that choice. So technically the bat can go in my backpack and I'm just not carrying it, so I'll just put it over here. The other thing I need to think about, so that was 1 time to search, is where I want to put my bear trap, because it's going to impact some of my movement. Okay, I firmly believe that Hans is going to end up moving down this way. So when I move, we'll kind of see. Let's see. Okay, I have a plan. It's going to involve wasting some movement, but I also don't care. It's going to be great. All right, so let's start with just a walk. Hopefully I'll get lucky and be able to walk 2. Because if I can, I'm going to come up here and lay that bear trap, because that is delicious. Although Hans could jump in here and I don't want that. Maybe I'll hold on to my bear trap for a little bit. Either way, let's walk. So walk. That was a very failed walk. That was worthless. Okay, so that's -2 time for nothing. Let's do a little bit more walking. Come on, walk it out, Laurie. All right, let's see if Laurie can walk this time. No, that was horrible. Okay, we're gonna use close call. I'm gonna reroll any 1 die. Let's go ahead and reroll this one. So let's go ahead and reroll the one that was blank. I could at least maybe pay for that. Okay, we did get a success. Good. So I can waste 1 more time. Oof, I'm gonna run out of time this round. And walk for 2. Let's just do 1, 2. And this person will come with us for our next little move. Okay. And then I do want to do some more moving. I could save someone if I get a good sprint in. So we're going to sprint. We're going to hope for a big success here. Okay, well, we got partial success anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 1, and then this person will leave the board. It actually buys me a time for rescuing that victim. And then we're going to come up here for 2 to the dock. No, we're going to come here for 2 and get these people out. So my goal for the next turn is to lead some people away from Hans. I think that's a good goal. I have some cards that I do like. I'm keeping the combat cards for now. I've just been building those up. I don't really need these focus cards right now, so I'm going to discard them for time and get myself up to 5 time. These cards all go into discard, and we're going to go into planning. So these are the cards that I discarded last turn. I'm just going to put them back. Close call and sprint. I'm going to move my items away from my market. Getting too much card confusion here. Let's put the aluminum bat under the board. All right, so I have 3 points to spend. And I'm going to buy sprint for sure, because I need to be able to move. It's kind of key. And then a close call. My time will reset to 6. Oh yeah, I can pick up short rest for free, which I definitely want to do. And now it is Hans's turn. Okay, Hans, what you gonna do, buddy? So he stabs the air because this person did run away from him, but let's draw a tarot card and see what we get. All right, so for this one we got, he's just standing there. So my horror is actually gonna go up by 2. That's bad. I do not need to go into 1 die territory. He's gonna target, so this means either a victim or me, whoever's closest, and then he's gonna move twice. So what he's actually gonna do is target this victim, move once, because he stops his movement once he hits a target, and he doesn't stab. It doesn't say that he does. So he's actually gonna stand there and just to freak the person out. Hence, he's just standing there. Oh my God. So this victim is gonna panic. And they rolled a 6, which is actually great because they're going to come this way instead of like going in the lake or going back to make out point. So thank God. Okay. It's back to me. Let's see what I can do. I've got to save some people and then fight Hans. Okay. My obvious first choice is we're going to use sprint. We're absolutely going to sprint. That's what we want. And we got 2 successes. That's beautiful. So I'm going to do 1, 1, 2, 3. That's how I'm going to move. So I moved 2 people here. For my second move, I came back and got this person. So I got 3 people off the board. That's awesome. That cost me 1 time to do, but then it bought me 3 times. So that's like a nice fat stack of time for me to spend at the end of the round, which I'm really feeling. Let's go ahead and refill the market with cards I discarded last time so that I don't get mixed up. So that was a freebie, 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 search. Okay, so this goes in my new discard. And let's see what else I'd like to do with my time. I have all these combat cards I'm kind of building up, and I'd like to keep them. The question is, would I like to spend a little bit of time to lay a bear trap? I don't know. It might not be time just yet. I think instead I'm going to spend these 2 cards for, no, I'm going to keep my close call. I'm going to ditch my short rest because I don't need it. I'm going to spend it to get 1 more time. Which leaves me with a hand of 4 cards, and I'm going to pick up a bunch for the next round. So I'm actually going to stop my turn there because I want to see what Hans is going to do. We've got few enough victims left that he and I are going to fight soon. So my thought is that I want to build up my fighting capabilities to get him as badly as I can because he's got a lot more health than me and he's scary. So there's that. Okay. So my time to plan, I have 9 points of time. That's awesome. I'm 100% grabbing critical blow while I can afford it for 6, which still leaves me with 3 points. So I'm going to buy sprint for 2 and then close call for 1, because the more movement you have, the better it really is, always, in my opinion. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can pick 3 of these. So let's do 8. We'll leave a focus. 9, 10. Okay, so now I have a full hand. It's Hans's turn. So he's going to stab the air again. Stab, stab. Nothing happens. But he is going to draw a tarot card. Uh-oh. Let's go see if the rumors are true. That's what you want to do? Oh my God. So we're going to place 2 victims, new victims, fresh ones, at the killer's starting location. And then we're going to increase our horror, and we're going to draw an event. Oh my God. Okay. So a couple of these geniuses are going to go to the board at the killer's starting location, which is right here. Fortunately, they are close to me, so I can hopefully bail their stupid butts out, but I'm annoyed. This is going to go up to 6, by the way. Okay, the other thing is we have to increase my horror. I've got to focus next turn because I do not need to be rolling 1 die. That would suck really bad. And then Hans has also forced me to draw an event. Dark waters. Oh no! Whenever a victim enters or is in the lake, they die immediately. Oh man. So these 2 people just died. That's it for them. And because Hans gets excited by that sort of thing, his bloodlust just jumped up by 2, which increased my horror by 1, and now I can only roll 1 die. Uh-oh. Guys, this is not looking good. I mean, I guess he didn't move that time, so at least there's that, but shoot, that is a disaster. Okay. He's also really close to revealing his dark power, which, trust me, you do not want. It's always bad. There's no such thing as a good dark power. They're called dark powers for a reason. Okay, so let's see what I can do. I think my first goal is let's go ahead and try to focus. If I can roll a success on this, I can at least get back up to 2 dice for all my other rolls this turn. So I have my 1 pathetic die. Come on, focus, focus. And it was a 1. I did not focus. That was horrible. Okay, so this is gonna go into discard. I'm gonna try, all right, let's go ahead and sprint. At least if I get a success on that, I can go 2 spaces. Okay, I gotta pay 2 cards to make it a success. At this point, I'm going to. No, I'm just gonna play my close call to reroll it. That's a better decision, I think. Hopefully this reroll will be good. Okay, we got a success that time. So my sprint, I can move 2, so it cost me a time. Failing my focus cost me 2 time. My sprint has cost me 1 time, but I can move 2. So what I think I'm gonna do is we're gonna go, let's do 1, 2. So these guys leave the space. I get 2 time back, so that's good. Let's try walk and just hope for the best. All right, so we got a 6, so I can walk here. Come on. If I can get 1 more success in this walk, that'd be amazing. I did not, but I'm gonna actually spend my close call to reroll that. Oh, a success. Okay, so I can walk these 2 people here and out. So these 2 people have also now left the scene. I lost a time, but I gained 2 for that. So the good news is that I'm getting a little bit of time. We're probably gonna buy this distraction card to help me decrease my horror level a little bit. Okay, so what I'm left with is critical blow, weak attack, retaliate, and guard. And I am holding on to those hard because no way am I blowing that. Okay, so I have 5 time to spend. That's actually pretty good given how this is going. We're gonna spend, first let's put our old actions back. So I've got sprint, which is definitely my friend, and short rest, which is free. So let's grab both of the free cards. Easy enough. We're gonna pay 3 for distraction, 2 for sprint, for a total of 5. So that should be a decent setup for this upcoming round. Now it's Honza's turn. He's gonna stab the air, nothing happens, but we are gonna draw a terror card. He just keeps coming. Okay, so what's gonna happen this time is actually pretty bad. So my horror level increases, boom. But that makes his bloodlust increase before anything else happens. And that means that we're gonna reveal his dark power. Sledgehammer Massacre. For every stab, Honza attacks each target in his space once. Okay, that's actually, it's not as bad as it could be because we've at least done a good job of like getting these people out. So he's not going to be able to attack a group unless more people come on the board, which is possible. Now he is going to target. He'll target either me or a victim, but it's a victim. He will move and he will attack. So this victim also died. And that increases his bloodlust some more. So now he moves 2, by the way, and he hits me for 3, which is terrifying. So that was Honza's turn. That was great for him. It wasn't so great for me. Let's reset my time to 6. I think my first thing is let's go ahead and do distraction because I can get a little bit of time back and I can decrease my horror if I roll a success. So come on, distraction. Distract myself. Yes. All right, we got a 6. So this comes back up. Whew, it's something. It is something. And then we actually get a time instead of lose time. So that was good. Thank you, distraction. I do also have this focus card that I'm going to go ahead and play. I get to roll 2 dice. Thank goodness. And we got double success. Hey, that was really good. So I got 2 time instead of losing time. And my horror went back down 1. Okay, so we're calming down. Taking a deep breath. Trying to focus, even though this is a very bad situation. So it's really just me and Hans now. And it's time to think about how I want to come at him. I've got some good fight cards in my hand, which is excellent. I also want to kind of use this bear trap maybe. All right, I'm going to try to lure him. I think he's going to come my direction anyway. So let's, hang on. Yeah, let's go ahead and play sprint. I really only need one success. And I got it. So I'm going to move these 2 spaces. That'll cost me a time. And I'm going to spend 2 more time to discard my bear trap. Ah ha ha ha. So I'm just going to put it here, I guess. Since I know Hans is going to probably move this way. We're going to just put it right there. As a reminder, I would get a token under normal circumstances, but I feel like this is going to resolve very quickly. So we've placed a bear trap, and we still have 6 left to spend. I'm keeping all these, to be honest with you. Can I do anything else bad to attack Hans? I could get Furious Strike, which I like quite a bit. So, okay, let's say that my turn is going to end right here. I'm going to keep Short Rest in my hand because I'm not interested in dying. Let's call my turn and go into planning. So I had 3 freebies that were available, so I'm just going to grab those. Close Call and Sprint are back. I have 8 cards in my hand right now. This is discarded. I can buy 2 more. And I think that I'm going to pick up Furious Strike for 4 and then Sprint for 2. So we'll reset me to 6 and Hans gets a turn. So Hans is going to stab the air. Now we're going to draw a terror card. Come towards me, buddy. Come on, Hans. Come on. All right, our terror card is Hans wants me. He's always wanted me. Perfect. So he's going to target me, move towards me, and then bear trap, got him. Fantastic. So we got his killer phase just ended because he walked right into my bear trap. Yeah, he did. And so it's going to take 2 hearts off of him, and it's going to automatically cost him the rest of his killer turn. So he was going to stab me, but bear trap snapped around his ankle and got him. All right, so Hans walked into my trap, and now it's time for me to decide what to do. We are back to me. I think we're going to just go for broke. Let's play Critical Blow. So basically, if I get 2 success rolls, I get him for 3 damage, plus my axe, plus my special power, and my horror goes down. I still damage him here, and then here I do still damage him, but I take some myself. So let's hope that that's not how it goes. All right, so let's go ahead and roll. Oh, okay. So I have 1 success, and then the question is, do I want to pay 2 cards to make it 2 successes? Do I want to do that? You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, so I don't really want to, but I'm going to pay this focus, and I'm going to pay this walk. We're going to ditch those in order to convert this 4 into a success. So now I hit him for 3, plus 2 for the axe for these 2 little damage markers here, and then 1 more because whenever I am in the same space as the killer and do damage, I do an additional damage. So that's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage to Hans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I should have one here. So we are even right now. Hans and I are on about the same level. So the other thing is my terror of him goes down because I managed to land a big hit. So my opportunities to roll more dice are going to keep going up as well. Okay, so the question is, what do I want to do now? I could try to hit him again, and I might. So I have this Furious Strike. The thing is, if I mess up, that's the end of my turn. But we're going to do it. We're going to play Furious Strike, because you know what? No guts, no glory, right? We got to do this. So that first attack, by the way, it cost me nothing. It didn't cost me any time at all, and this one won't either. So let's go ahead and roll and see how we do. Okay, so this time we got 1 success and we got 1 failure. So what that means is that, again, we're going to hit him for 1, 2, 3, 4, but my turn is over. So the question is Hans still alive or not after this? So I hit him for 1 for the card, 2 for the axe. This went down 1. And I hit him for 3 because of my additional damage here, but is he going to rise again? Oh no, he has 1 more life left. Oh my god. So my turn is now over, and Hans has come back to life. So that didn't actually cost me any time. I'm hanging out great on time, but Hans now is going to get to hit me. So I do get a planning phase. These cards were the ones I discarded, so I'm going to put them over here for now. Okay. What do I need to do? Okay, I'm gonna pick up, I have a sprint, I have a walk. I think while I have the money, I'm gonna grab guard, 2 close calls, and the other sprint. That's 10 cards. I have that focus over there, but no, we're gonna spend everything. We're gonna go back up to 6. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put these other ones back. So we had walk, focus, critical blow, furious strike. Hopefully I don't need to buy those again, but we'll find out. It's Honza's turn. It's Honza's turn. What's he gonna do? So the first thing that Honza is going to do is he is going to attempt to stab me because we haven't unlocked his final power with the finale yet. We're about 3 rounds away from that because I added those extra cards to the Terror deck. That was a good choice. So he's going to try to stab me. Now I get to choose to respond. So I'm going to play Retaliate. So this is a card that will do some damage back to him if I have any successes, and it'll block damage to me. All right, so basically he's either gonna hit me pretty bad or I'm gonna kill him. Oh, success. I'll take that 1 success. So he's gonna do 1 damage to me because he's currently at 3 damage, but so this reduces damage by half rounded down. So that would be 1 heart off of me, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4 hearts off of him. Hans is extremely dead. Yes. So we have successfully completed this round of Final Girl. It doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes you get the lake card and there's like 8 people in the lake. So I really enjoy this game. I think it's fun in all of its different permutations, like putting different killers in different places. I like all the thematic touches of the game. It's always a story every single time you play. This time I did well because I managed to get a hold of a good weapon and I was buying and kind of hoarding those attack cards throughout the game. It doesn't always happen like that, but I'm really glad that it did this time. Anyway, this is Final Girl. It is about to be on Kickstarter, or it is already if this is after April 16th, and I hope that you enjoy it. Happy gaming.